Path of Night, Brine and Blood is an actual play Hunter the Reckoning podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends. We're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. Content warnings can be found in the show notes. We talk at our table about safety, comfort, and consent, both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect. We're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. Now let's take back the night.
The rivers, lakes, and ocean all stood still, and nothing stirred within their silent depths. Ships, sailorless, lay rotting on the sea, and their masts fell down piecemeal. As they dropped, they slept on the abyss without a surge. The waves were dead. The tides were in their grave. The moon, their mistress, had expired before. The winds were withered in the stagnant air, and the clouds perished. Darkness had no need of aid from them. She was the universe. Excerpt from Darkness by Lord Byron. Last time on Brine and Blood. The Imbued raced to intercept Mateo, who had cornered one of the shark shifters in a warehouse by the docks. The shifter, a Rokea named Guards the Shoals, told the group he was hunting Mateo for being a betweener. A Rokea who went on land, something that Guards the Shoals claimed was forbidden. Thanks to Pheia's intercession, the group managed to leave peacefully, the beginnings of a new understanding between the sea-dwelling monster and the hunters. Putting together the connections between the sharks, an existential threat to the oceans, and the body-snatching cephalopods, the group began to debate whether they should kidnap one of the infected.
It's just that Todd, if you had some item with that smell on it, I don't know, sharks have a really strong sense of smell, maybe Mateo could help us out with that?
It's not as good on the land.
Is it still better than you'd think?
Better than you'd think.
Sure.
I don't know, I'm being combative. Yeah, but I can't, track squids by scent outside the water, I guess.
I don't think we have anything either way. So, what are we planning on doing here? So far, we know of one of the possessed here that might be able... And the only other one we've really run into, other than that, is a doctor who didn't really seem like a doctor. So I don't necessarily know if we can even find him again.
At the hospital.
At the hospital, right. The one that brought in the one that was trying to attach onto Maverick. Or something. I have to assume that, but he punched it first, so.
So, I'm sorry. What are we doing here?
All right. So, we want to question one of the possessed to see what they might know about either Texas Tower or Brighton Point, and the only one that we're really aware of is.
Gary.
Now, there is some amount of questioning I can do without necessarily touching him. I can get us some information. I just don't know how much they know.
What do you need to pull info from the infected?
Infected?
Yeah. The infected. It's spreading.
I mean, they're possessed. It's not really infection per se. What leads you to believe it's an infection?
Just things I've seen.
I mean,
People you know.
there are. Yeah, that generally means that you've seen other people with this problem. Were these the people that you had to go back for?
Yeah.
You've been holding out on us. Who else do you know that this has been happening to?
I'm pretty strict with the no names thing. And I prefer to leave people out if at all possible.
So
they're still people when they're yours.
I'm not bringing kids into this. And, no offense, but you guys have been a little fast and loose with things like names. I'm not letting that anywhere near a kid.
I am also generally on the anti-kid train.
I kind of give Mateo a look, and no offense, but not really your crowd either.
Fucked up things happen to kids all the time.
Doesn't mean we should help that along.
No, I'm not really saying they are. Just sometimes bad things happen to kids.
Okay.
It sounds like a bad thing has already happened to a kid. And if we're able to help that kid, we would have a responsibility to, but we don't know how this works.
Yeah, regardless, we don't start with the kid.
So what do you mean, like, spreading? Like, should we not be touching nothing?
It's like like the invasion of the body snatchers, or like Night of the Living Dead.
Is it like fucking zombies and stuff? You're saying
Well,
zombies are out here?
It's just
zombies?
like it's somewhere between that. There's some people get into contact, and it seems like whatever this is spreads.
The one that was attached to the doctor, which was attached, seemed to be injecting itself into its spinal column, neck area, possibly brainstem, and controlling it.
Holy shit.
But that does mean that they are generally there. I don't think we haven't seen anything so far that indicates that they continue that way, but I don't have enough info on them yet.
Well, hang on, Maverick. Would you have reason to believe that the parents would be infected if they're in the picture?
Yeah, I mean, if it's happening, it's in the household. There really isn't a reason that someone who's infected would risk being exposed by someone in their living space.
What I'm saying is, if it's an infection like that, that would give us a network to work off of. Not the kid, not children at all, but people who were engaged, interacting.
Well, how many people are we talking about in this household? Can you give us that number without sharing too much?
3.
And what about Gary? What's his household look like?
He's got a girlfriend who comes and goes.
Do we know any other people that might be infected, possessed, whatever this is?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean,
obviously the doctor, but we don't know where he is or where he comes from.
We don't know him, so that's...
I'm sorry, Nat, you were saying?
yes, we know that something was wrong with that woman at the receptionist, but I don't know if it's the same problem. I didn't see any squid eyes or any rash.
And for that matter, she works at fucking corruption hotel, so... Look, if these are our only 2 leads, just based off the numbers, a family of 3 versus a guy who's got a girlfriend... Pheia, I'm sorry, but I feel like we gotta go after Gary.
Then you're gonna have to go through me. Because I'm not giving you someone from my family to, as you say, grab and take and beat the answers out of him.
Look, you just work with the guy. You're not family.
No. He and I are family. All of the elderly people there, when I say that they're my grandparents, they're my grandparents. They're what I have left. They're the people who picked me up. They're the people who take me to the hospital. They're the people who anonymously, so they say, pay my hospital bills. They're the people who make sure I have food. They're the people who make sure I can afford my medicine.
All right. Point taken. Look, but if we can go and isolate one person versus having to deal with a house of 3, that is a lot safer for everybody, right?
Is there a reason we can't go after the doctor?
We don't
know where he is.
We don't know where he is, and I don't even necessarily think he was a doctor.
Just some man who walked into a hospital and looked official?
His bag was out of date. He didn't seem very doctorish. He wasn't able to play the part very well. That was my general gist. What if we do it in stages? What if we just check out Gary's house when he's not there?
I mean, we know that there is something specifically up with Gary. You said that you used the sight on him?
Yeah.
There's a trick that I could do, an edge of mine that would be consequential and would be dangerous. Effectively, I would be able to illuminate any supernatural or affected individuals in an area, but they would very much know it was me, and it is an obvious effect. It glows.
Why would we do that?
Yeah.
To identify others like Gary, if you did not want to go after him, it would be casting a wide net. We'd have to go places that he goes, see who he interacts with.
All right, hold on. Back up for 1 second. I do think going after Gary is the right call, but I gotta admit, I am losing perspective here on everything. Just because I'm an asshole and don't have the best relationship with my coworkers, obviously, doesn't mean that you can't be family with them. If we went after Gary, how would you play it? If you agreed to show us where he is and take us along, and you could call the shots, how would this go down?
It wouldn't.
Okay. What is Gary's access to these elderly people that you care about?
We work with them.
So this is spreading, and he has access to them. How long is he going to keep access to them before you think those elderly people are in a bad situation?
Well, I think Gary is also on the list of family. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, but that's my question.
It's not a fair question.
I'm not here to play nice. What's the answer? How long do you think it's safe to wait? How long you want to risk him?
Back up. We don't even need to go that far.
Todd grits his teeth, but takes a step back.
Look, man, I could ask you all those same questions, all right? I'm just playing the numbers here.
But those are the numbers, and those are things that I do have to ask myself.
Yeah, you've got a whole family of 3 that could be spreading this infection to how many God knows more people.
And when
by that logic, we should go after
correct.
those people. I'm thinking about the fact that it is safer for the group of us, but
I can get you in his house.
all right,
We can go look in his house.
Why don't we
Pheia, I appreciate that. I think you need to tell us what level we're going here. You make the call on this. You're opening your family up to us. We're going to play by your rules. How do you want to run this?
You let me talk to him until it's obvious he's not capable of talking.
Okay?
We should start a little bit low-key, and if it comes down to it, we can always surprise him. But if we go inside, we might find more information. You say he works shifts?
Yeah, I know his work schedule. I know everybody's work schedule.
So we can start there. We also learn the layout of the place. You, I think, mentioned that he didn't let you in last time? You said he was acting strange?
Yeah, he doesn't have a basement. It's a 1 floor. It's Cape Cod-ish, but it's mostly just attic space.
So we can investigate. We can keep people on lookout. We can start there. And if we decide that from there we can move on to a different stage.
And here's the thing. This has got to be information gathering, right?
That's the plan.
Dallas kind of looks around to everyone and actually lands on Todd, right? This is information gathering?
Yeah, that's fine.
Because Todd, if we're just going to go in there and kill this guy, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be telling us about this family you know and just killing them.
I didn't suggest anyone get killed, first of all.
All right.
Second of all, I have been keeping an eye on this family, but I don't have enough info to move on them. And no offense, but I'm way more comfortable risking an adult who's isolated instead of gambling on a whole family.
But by the logic that you put forwards, a child infected puts more children at risk.
Exactly.
No, it doesn't, because that child isn't going to have the one-on-one time with totally vulnerable people like that. In a classroom, they're watched. They're monitored. Yes, it's dangerous, and yes, there's going to be problems if something doesn't get done, but there's enough of a window to, if we can get the right information, that can be handled the way it needs to be handled.
They're also not in school all the time.
No, there was the time they're with their weird... I'm monitoring it. I'm watching the situation, and I am conceding to just gather information.
And also, this possibly could give us a solution.
Now back to you, Pheia. We're going to let you take lead on this. And that puts you at a big risk here. Because you're the one who's going to tell us when it's gone too far and we need to step up our level of intervention. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's also an issue of trust. We need to demonstrate that we will follow Pheia's lead.
I will. I'm just letting her know that in my paranoid brain, I feel like this could get you killed. But
To the curse of the Mercy Creed. We're closer to them, by definition.
Well, I'm willing to trust you on that, all right?
We'll keep it small. Me and Pheia can go in first. Everybody else can be nearby. A bunch of people entering into a house that are unusual will be weird.
Agreed. Because I gotta be honest, my first instinct is we should just be violent. But again, I'm recognizing the fact that I'm kind of an asshole. And I do want to say that I think this could get you guys hurt, but we gotta let you guys do your thing.
There is no kindness without a risk of getting hurt.
Yeah, you're fucking right.
It's not the getting hurt that makes me concerned. Let's just get this done with.
What's the thing that makes you concerned then?
Getting exposed.
Selling out. Let's just go.
I guess we look over at the shark.
Right, like I say selling out and I just look at Mateo and I go the fuck outside.
Do you want to get in less trouble next time?
The hell did I do? What's his problem?
It's difficult to be what we are. You end up going through situation after situation, and there's people that you can't protect, and there's situations you can't fix.
Yeah, that's just called fucking being alive.
To some extent, but something about what we are causes us to take responsibility, causes us to choose to try and make a difference in some way. Don't interrupt me,
So I just...
guy whose life I just helped save.
He, clenches his jaw a little bit.
I think we have to get you a new phone, yeah?
Yeah, mine got broke.
Sorry about that. Alright, looks like we'll be probably splitting off to start up on this mission, but we should stay in contact.
Yeah, I should probably not hang around for a while, and I have other things to look at, so we'll be in touch, yeah?
Sounds about good.
What kind of other things do you go in to look at?
Ocean stuff? Is that too vague?
Yeah.
Thanks to our friend here, he kind of nods over at Pheia. I think I at least have a little bit more reprieve and a little bit of answers, but if the shark, the hammerhead, what's his face?
Shoals.
Yeah, Garza Shoals. If he was right, there are people who don't want me to get to sea, to swim to the grotto, and there are... What's the fucking word he used? Rorqual? There's like whales in the area, and one's gone missing, so I'm going to, follow my nose. He looks over at Nat, try and get a beat on where some of the fucking whales have gone.
She absolutely has a little victorious smirk when he says follow his nose.
There's some big bad shit happening in the ocean, and it has to do with the whales, and I don't really understand, but I'm gonna go look around there, underwater wise. Hopefully, he pauses for a second, and looks back over at Nat. If you're going back out to that place at some point,
Most likely.
tell me first. I'll tell you. Deal? And he looks over at Dallas.
Yeah, all right. You get information from the ocean, and we'll share what we get.
That sounds fine.
Glad you're okay.
Yeah. Well, kind of glad I didn't have to kill nobody.
Yeah, I appreciate that too.
I suppose I could borrow like $20 from anybody.
Who am I, a Vanderbilt?
Nat pulls out
I don't know your last name.
about $20 from her wallet.
I'd say I owe you, but there's very little chance I'm going to pay you back.
I understand. Is this for the phone or?
And a little food.
Yep.
Man can't live off seal alone, you know?
Not really.
No, I didn't. Well, yeah, I'm not explaining myself. And he takes the money and walks out. When he walks out the door, Toddy throws you a glance.
I am going to pinpoint him as he's going away.
Roll it.
What is that?
That is the ability where I can gather the weaknesses and possibly the layer of monsters. Tens blow up on this still, right? Just no
So long as you have an appropriate spec. Yeah, just not merits.
perception discerning.
Yeah, that applies to pinpoint.
Great. That's 11 successes.
Cool. Fucking psycho.
He's like the opposite of Miles in terms of seeing shit.
I bring my thumb up and basically measure distance to the back of Mateo as he's leaving.
Range find him as he walks off.
Pretty much, yeah.
In that moment, you are certain that Silver is anathema to these things. That for how big and tough and scary they are, you are certain that Silver destroys these things, body and soul. That it burns them, that they cannot stand even the touch of it.
Sounds good. Does he have any place that he really calls home? I'm assuming not.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
no.
that's what I figured.
You
But-
get sort of vague impressions of the ocean in general.
Oh boy. I'll drop my hand down and I'll be like, I'll tell you guys later.
All right.
So me and Open Hearth here, we'll go there in my truck. You guys can follow close by. I think Nat's car is over there.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there as soon as an open time is available. When do you think is Gary not going to be there?
I mean, he's on shift right now.
No time like the present, I guess.
He'll be on until about 5 or 6.
Got it. Everyone good to go? How you doing, Maverick?
Yeah, let's just go.
So not great, but okay, let's go.
So in two separate cars, you drive the 20, 30, depending on traffic, minute drive over to Narragansett.
Pheia will... She seems to have almost like a custodian's ring of keys for all the people's houses she has keys to. And probably some for work, but she seems to know which is which pretty readily. She checks to make sure that, Katie's car isn't in the driveway.
It is.
Alright, his girlfriend might be here. If she may also just have gone for a walk or something. She doesn't hang out at the house much when he's not here.
His bike is gone, though.
And Gary's not here. His bike isn't here.
I'm planning on bringing weapons. Is that going to be a problem? Nothing big.
No, you should have a weapon,
Good.
because if he turns on you, then what can you do?
Roger that. And I will be also grabbing, out of the back bin with all my other hats, a ski mask. I'm not going to put it on until we get inside, because that's super weird in the middle.
In June?
Yeah.
What-
And I will park and hopefully see their car parked somewhere nearby.
Some distance away, just, road parking. Not necessarily as if you're parking for the same place. But Nat steps out, coming to join you.
Checking Katie's car, how long does it look like it's been there? Is there, pollen on it?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't look like it's moved in a few days.
Okay. Was it there the last time I was at his house?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Same spot.
Okay, that's weird. Her car hasn't moved since the last time I was here.
Gotcha.
So Pheia will go up and pull out her key ring and unlock the door.
So for clarification, Pheia and John are in one vehicle?
Yep.
And then the other 3 of us are in the other vehicle?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm keeping an eye around while you go up
Hypothetically.
with you.
Is there a smell?
Roll me a perception awareness. Because you are, as was previously stated, this is sort of like within wind from the ocean distance.
2 successes.
That sort of like fishy Atlantic Ocean smell is a little stronger than normal. You don't, however, despite, some concerns walking up, smell like that sickly sweet rotten meat smell or anything like that. It's more like the sea is more present in the air.
So Pheia will kind of give the air a sniff and wrinkle her nose a little bit and then just kind of hip check the door open because it sticks a little bit, especially in the humidity.
It was locked, so you did have to use a key.
Yep.
Which is like a 50-50 for Gary's house.
Which is, yeah. Pheia will actually stop and think about it at that point. Gary almost never locks his door.
All right, well, get out of the doorway. Get inside.
Okay.
As you're stepping inside. So Gary's house is a very small house, right? I'm going to describe the layout real fast. You've seen it before. You were right. There is no basement. There is sort of a first floor living room where like the window opens up to the front street. Curtains were closed when you walked in. To the right is like a little kitchenette, very small, just enough room for a table and like a stove. There is a bedroom in the back and then a bathroom. And that's it. There is a pull-down attic that you can access from the bathroom. But you can almost see the entire thing from the front door.
Okay.
And as you step in, the curtains are closed. It is dark in there. The lights are off, except the TV is playing. And it's just playing like old baseball games. And there is the silhouette of a woman sitting in a chair in front of the TV. How quiet are you guys being walking into the house here, is my question.
I'm decently quiet. I just want to get us off the porch.
Sure. So the figure in the chair doesn't react until the door closes again. And you close the door behind you. And then looks over its shoulder, and you can see it has longer hair, and a voice from that silhouette just goes, "Oh, Pheia, I didn't expect to see you. Gary didn't tell me you were coming."
I didn't bother calling. I have the key, so I figured I would just drop by and get the Tupperware that I gave him a couple days ago.
Who's your friend?
I am trying to stay out of direct eyesight.
Sure. It
As best as possible.
It is dark in here for sure.
And I am not saying anything.
This is Mike. He just bought a property in the area. He wanted to see...
Oh, where?
Burrow Street.
I didn't know there were any properties up on Burrow Street.
It was not a public affair.
Ooh.
So.
Give me the details.
I am definitely putting up second sight now.
Pheia will probably jump and realize that it's John. And should I make like an empathy roll to know what the fuck he's pinching me about?
No, I don't want rolls for this. I want you guys just to play
If she
through.
just turns around and looks at me, I'll quietly go, put it up.
Well, I'm sorry. I can't really. I missed that. Let me turn the TV down. And she turns back away and like leans forward to hit the button physically on the TV to lower the volume.
As she goes to turn the TV down, before she does, Pheia just leans over and she's like, "I trust you."
She's corrupted.
I know.
Great. I'm gonna pinpoint her. I'm gonna risk a conviction on this. Only 2.
You look at her under the effects of pinpoint, and you become aware that fire is anathema to creatures of the dark depths.
What are we doing?
I don't know. What are you doing? She kind of like turns back around after having adjusted the volume of the TV so it's quieter in here.
Gary said you were sick. Are you feeling better?
I was, and honestly, now I feel great. I feel much, much better.
Okay, because it doesn't look like you've left the house at all.
Can a woman just enjoy some time of not having to do stuff?
She can, but from everything Gary has told me about you don't like to be home when he's not home.
Well, Gary doesn't know everything.
Sometimes he needs to be reminded
Sometimes
of that.
he doesn't understand why you would want a little time to yourself, and so you tell him you don't like doing things without him so that he can feel like he's being a big sacrificer when he has to go out and leave me alone, and it makes him feel good, and I get a little alone time.
That sounds cumbersome, but I trust your methods.
It works.
If it works, it works.
If it works, it works. Can I help you with something? Did he send you to grab something?
No, I just came to collect my Tupperware, and I was going to show Mike around the house so he could get a sense of the layout of the property.
Right.
So
I think
for
it's
renovation purposes.
I think it's renovation. Oh, is it? Are there properties out there? Is it a lot? Is the layout like ours?
Yeah.
It's a little weird to show him around someone else. Does Gary know you're showing him around our house?
Gary gives me a key to his house when he bothers to lock it, and has told me to make myself at home.
I feel like showing a stranger the layout of your private space is a little different than make yourself. That's like make yourself at home to an extreme.
I'll talk to him about it later and see if he would prefer I not do that in the future. I'm just like nudging John with my foot to like go look around.
I need you to roll me a subterfuge. Manipulation subterfuge.
Does beguiling count? My spec.
Not really in this. You're not really beguiling. You're just bald-faced lying.
I will spend a willpower on this because
Yes.
it's just a standard issue. 2 successes.
This is contested.
Okay. It's dark in here, that's all I'm saying.
It is. I increased her difficulty by 1 for the circumstances, and she got 4 successes
What a slut.
on a 5-die pool. Actually, I am kind of enjoying my solo time, so let me just scooch past you and get your Tupperware for you. I think I'm going to ask you to leave.
I can just go get it. No need to get up.
No, that's fine. I got it. You stay right there.
Sure.
She gets up from this like scratchy old armchair in front of
Yep.
the TV and starts walking over to the little kitchenette. Right past you guys.
Pheia will nod. Yeah, phase 2.
I will send a text to Mav.
It's been a few minutes. The door closes. You can't actually see anything inside. Todd, you get a text.
GF Corrupt, come on in.
All right. Looks like the girlfriend's a problem too. We should head in. Trouble. Todd's going to get out, have a look around, but he's going to be heading over with a knife and gun.
Dallas kind of looks over at Nat.
Nat lifts an eyebrow, stretches, looks to Dallas. We're still following Pheia's lead, but
Agreed.
if this is anything like what Todd was facing in the hospital, make sure you're ready to defend yourself, okay?
Dallas pulls a Morley light out of his pack, puts it in his lip, and lights up. If some kind of squid creature wants to get on my face, they're at least gonna get a cigarette burn for it.
Well, we'll watch out for our face, but we'll also watch out for plumbing. Any way that something small can squish through and escape.
Right, that's not where I thought you were going with that, but okay.
I'm not comparing your face to plumbing.
Again, you're missing the... You know what? Let's just head
Guys,
inside.
we gotta go.
We're going.
Also, the piece and the knife, keep those away. Again, we're waiting for Pheia.
He's already like tucked it away. That they're concealable, specifically weapons.
We'll go in, we'll act like we're their ride, and it's taking longer.
No. We're just going to go in as backup. We're kind of unmasking at this point.
All right. We can go in loud.
Inside, she kind of scoots by you guys into the kitchenette and is rummaging around. There's a bunch of stuff, and actually, Pheia, you can see she flicks a light on when she gets in the kitchen and starts rummaging around. Like, I think, was it good Tupperware or was it bad, shitty Tupperware? Because we have a bunch of, you know how they all get mixed, and and she's like rummaging around through. There's like a drying rack full of old Tupperware and stuff. You actually see yours right in there.
Pheia is going to take that opportunity to go ahead and paint the target on herself as not a threat with outreach.
Okay.
And I'm going to risk a point of conviction because I have to start remembering to do that.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
So that is a manipulation mercy roll. Does my spec count of beguiling?
Yes.
Manipulation, is that?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was your subterfuge spec or not.
No, that's my manipulation.
Got it.
Yes, your manipulation spec will apply.
Okay. 9 successes.
Okay, what do you say to her?
I first activate it with the phrase, "Hi, I'm Pheia," but in this case, she's changing the inflection a little bit. Katie, hi, I'm Pheia.
Yeah?
You seem a little frazzled. You seem a little bit...
No, I've never felt better.
So here's the thing, though, Katie, is she puts the stuff away, and she grabs her Tupperware because while she's here, she might as well. Katie, you don't like me.
She stops for a second, like she's thinking.
You don't like how I manipulate Gary's time. You think that he and I are too close. You don't like how familiar he is with me.
I think that that's just sort of a wrong-headed impression that you had of my impression of you. I don't dislike you.
As they are talking, I'm going to scoot out of the front of the doorway because I know people are going to be coming, and possibly into the hallway just past the kitchenette, if I remember correctly.
There's like not even really a hallway.
Nothing?
It's
Okay.
just like the kitchenette and like the main room, and then there's the bedroom and the bathroom.
I'm going to kind of keep facing towards the wall, and then like if they keep talking and she's got her attention, I'm going to take my hat off and put the ski mask on.
Absolutely. The three of you from the outside will open the door to see Pheia talking to this woman who's like kind of head down in the sink looking for stuff. In the dark of the living room, see John pulling a ski mask onto his face.
Here's the thing, Katie. I think you're sick. I think you're still sick.
Oh, I was sick.
No, I think you're still sick.
No. I think I've never been better.
That's why I think you're sick. I think you have something convincing you that you're better. And there are things out there that do that.
Using the opportunity of spotting her with her facing away, I want to examine and see if there's any signs of something hooked into her.
Roll me perception medicine, a perception alertness.
I'll go with perception alertness.
Okay.
And I will spend a willpower. With that willpower, the difficulty's what, 6?
It's just 6.
Then it's 3 successes.
There doesn't seem to be anything hooked onto her. John had mentioned like spinal column stuff. When she turns, you can see that. With 3 successes, though, as she is talking in the light, something feels off about her mouth, her smile. And then when she goes to talk to Pheia, you notice that she doesn't actually have teeth. All of her teeth seem to have fused together. And there are like little ridges or bumps, like where the differentiation between human teeth would be. But it's almost like all of her teeth have fused into some sort of like fucking beak inside of her mouth.
As a squid's would.
Otherwise, she doesn't have like a mottled rash. Her pupils are normal pupils, and there doesn't seem to be anything attached to her at all. It's just her teeth look off. Pheia, she turns around to respond more to you and then sees the front door open and multiple people
I was actually going to request if I can roll
Please?
stealth while she was crouched down and looking the other way.
Absolutely, yeah, do it.
And I'm going to kind of motion for the others to slip into the dark with John.
Sure, is that us rolling stealth with you?
Yeah.
Oh no. That's a 4, a 1, a 1, and a 1.
Oh no.
So, for her perception, she only has one success.
That doesn't matter. Somebody just botched.
So she doesn't see those two.
You triple botch your stealth check.
Yeah.
Dallas,
Wash.
wash. So you
No successes.
no successes on the stealth check. Todd,
Todd will slip in with John, kind of help John situate his mask, and has 4 successes to remain concealed in the dark while doing so. He'll draw his knife and kind of hold it in like a reverse grip, ready to go on this monster when it's time.
so in my head, because there was a botch, I was like, if he got 3 or less successes, this is a total failure for everybody. But because you got 4, your stealth will succeed.
I survived the innocent.
I feel like Dallas doesn't really pick up on what we're doing and just is kind of like looking at everybody like...
She turns to speak to you to respond, and then notices the door open as the other group supposedly enters.
And when she looks over, Nat has kind of stopped in her tracks and has tilted her chin up, is looking at this woman's mouth and this expression of confusion. And she says, "How would you brush your teeth?"
And in that moment of confusion, Katie just looks at you and goes, "Who are you people? What are you doing in my house? With a toothbrush?" And she looks at the 3 of you and still knows that you're there.
Yep.
And as far as she is aware, there are 4 people in this house.
Including herself?
5, including herself.
Okay, she is aware of
She's
Dallas.
not aware of Todd. And just looks at the group that has walked into her house and looks back at you and goes, "Pheia, who are these people? I'm going to call the police."
I don't think you should do that.
"Well, I know you don't. You're clearly helping people break into my house.
We're not breaking in, Katie. We're here to help you.
I need help
Katie,
from intruders."
Katie, you don't have teeth anymore.
"I definitely do. I brushed them this morning. I know you're supposed to brush them more than once a day. Don't judge me." And she, like, pushes the Tupperware towards you. "Just take your things and leave, please."
Rob, is it dark in here?
It is dark in the living room. She turned on... So the only light that is in the living room is coming from the kitchenette, which is kind of like a shitty light.
And the TV?
Around the corner, and the TV. So there is some light coming in here, but it's not good.
Dallas is going to stare into the TV and then slowly let his vision drift around and activate discern.
Perception, zeal.
Fuck it, I'm going to risk 2.
Ooh, go for it.
Fancy.
3 successes.
Discern will be up for the next 30 minutes. Suddenly, the like light and shadows that is making it a little hard to see in here almost like grays out, like the light patterns in the darkness don't affect you at all. So you can see everything in here perfectly clear. You turn your eyes on Katie, and you notice that same thing, that her teeth truly are like a beak. Now that like you're looking that close, almost like they come to a point right where her incisors would meet. And her tongue is lashing around more wildly when she speaks than a regular tongue would. Now, she still is speaking fine. It doesn't seem to be impacting her at all in that way. And the sense that you get looking at her is very similar to the sense that you got when you were looking at those soldiers on the boat.
Does she know what's going on with her? Or is she lying to us? Or is she actually confused about what's happening to her?
I'm not lying. I brush my teeth once a day. I'm sorry. I'm not a dentist.
She's confused.
I'm not confused.
I know.
I've never been less confused. I'm confused as to what all of you are doing here.
Pheia will back up. Please do this as gently as you can, guys.
Do what? What are we doing? When Pheia says that, nope, you are explicitly not suspicious to her right now. You're literally the only one who could have said something that suspicious and not had her react badly.
Is this the part where you tell us that we could feel just as good as you do if only we make a small change?
This is the part where you leave the house, please. I'm not interested in hosting a party here or whatever this is.
In case you haven't noticed, something about you has changed. You say you brush your teeth, you don't feel that lack of a gap. You don't feel the difference when you take a drink of water. Nothing moves the way it should.
Why is everybody being weird?
Because you're weird.
I'm not.
You are.
I'm really not.
There's something changed about you. Something happened to you.
I would really like... Pheia, you gonna introduce your friends to me, or...?
More property hunters.
That's a lie. Why are you lying to me?
Why are you lying to me, Katie?
Because I just want you to leave. And if you don't leave, then I can't ignore the fact that you came.
Katie, you need help.
I don't.
You do.
I really don't.
I know you don't think that. I don't think you're allowed to think that. I think something is controlling you. The same thing that's changed your mouth, the same thing that's caused you to sit in the dark.
What's going on with you?
What's going on with me?
Yeah, why the sudden interest? What's changed with you, Pheia? It's not the same thing.
No, it's not.
Dallas kind of sidles up next to Pheia and kind of puts a hand on her shoulder, like reassuring her, and kind of gives her a glance, and then looks at Katie and points at her and takes a few steps forward to get kind of in her face. I'm not talking to Katie right now. I'm talking to the thing inside of her. You need to cut the bullshit, stop the lies, and start talking to us about what's actually going on. But what Dallas is thinking, so he actually hasn't seen these things move or escape. Obviously, they are very good at, like, you know, jumping down drains and stuff like that. But he hasn't seen that, so he's really not concerned about that. What he is concerned is that if Katie is able to be saved, this thing is manipulating her mind, and perhaps if he can strip this thing of its ability to do that, maybe they can talk to Katie. Maybe this thing can stop its mind control, whatever it is. That's what he's hoping to accomplish by getting in its face and causing it to be balanced. Because he's learned that is the trigger for his balance is
Confrontation.
Is confrontation and pointing at the beast itself.
That one is Wit's Zeal.
Wit's Zeal.
Yep. And the difficulty is stamina +2.
So you'll be at difficulty 4.
That'll be 6 successes.
Okay.
It lasts for 6 hours.
So, by the way, I can only risk 1 conviction per scene. Right?
Yes.
I am at 9 conviction right now.
Okay.
Oof.
She looks at you concerned and confused on her face, like, what is happening? Looks at Pheia. Like, do you want to get this guy out of my face?
I actually want to get the thing out of your face,
There's
Katie.
nothing in my face. It's just me. That's what you're not getting.
I'm going to take her signal for that, and I'm pretty sure that Todd will back me up at this because I'm terrible at it, but I'm going to go roll to try to grapple her now.
Okay. Yep.
I will use the distraction of John, and from surprise, I will grab her and hip toss her to the ground.
Okay. She has a 2 strength and no points in brawl.
That's what I like to hear. I have 3 successes to restrain her.
I have 0 successes. Told you.
Oh, actually, we're not going to worry about that, but I forgot I get the whole stealth roll.
You get stealth and stuff too, so you have more successes than that.
Wait, why?
So with a 0 and a lot, what ends up happening is you go, and then Todd jumps out of the shadows and wrestles her to the ground.
What causes the stealth plus?
So when
he was stealth up on her, and this is an attack roll, so
Yeah.
he can roll stealth to get extra dice to his attack roll.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Thank
it
you.
is actually 8 successes to...
surprise, for whatever reason, surprise makes you roll more dice.
Just keeping track.
So she is basically at your mercy in a grapple here. You feel her, like, resisting, but truly this is just like a woman who works at a library. Like, she does not have secret strength or martial arts skills you find as you wrestle her to the ground.
Todd will hold her down. He does have a knife in hand, but isn't like putting it to her throat or anything like that. The knife is just at the ready.
She
in case of tentacles.
Shrieks as she is wrestled to the ground and then starts panic screaming when she sees a knife.
Katie, it's gonna be okay.
Is it?
Yes, I promise.
How? How is this okay? And she like gestures sort of towards the room as best she can.
It's not okay right now, I'll admit that.
She's definitely corrupt. I'm going to go check around.
Really? I don't know what to say. I'm just like, fucking really?
Pheia makes... I want to make a medicine check to see the best way, if there is any way, to extract the thing from her.
There is no thing on her.
In her mouth.
That's her teeth.
Okay.
As you are looking close, that's just her teeth. But her teeth have like fused together into a beak. There's nothing like in there replacing her teeth. Her body is what it is, and her teeth have fused together into this kind of chitinous beak.
We need her to explain what she is and what's going on with the others like her. We can't pretend that this is an innocent person anymore.
Fire works.
What?
Pheia will get down on the floor so her face is level with Katie's.
Yeah, not near.
Yeah, not near. I don't want the beak. And she say, "When did you start feeling good?"
Day or two ago.
Okay, a day or two ago. Was that before or after you and Gary were sick?
It was right after I felt, well, I thought it was a sickness, but then I feel like maybe I was sick my whole life and never knew until a couple days ago when I finally felt good.
This is a bit of a unhinged impulse, but during the bit of this chaos, I'm going to walk away and open the fridge door. Just because infections, they often start with food, and maybe it'll even just teach us something about how these behave.
Sure.
She's got these strange teeth. I don't know.
I'm talking about actions. I'm going to head towards the bedroom and start seeing and like doing a quick search. So I'm going to start tossing it essentially.
Okay. In the fridge, it honestly just looks like normal food. The milk is like a little out of date, but not in like Pheia in a Gary way, not in a like not in a like it's been here for months kind of way. They're by the shore, so there's a bunch of like seafood all wrapped up in like Hallahan fishing paper, and there's cold cuts.
Well, the seafood.
And Pheia definitely a bunch of food that like he took from
Work
when he probably wasn't supposed to.
The seafood is getting a double examination.
It's just like cod.
I'm checking it for like freshness. I'm checking it for like
Pretty
I'll
fresh.
cut it like in half. Like just take a random knife and just make sure there's no random squid bits.
Nope.
I don't know what I'm looking for.
I won't even make you roll for anything. It just seems like seafood.
Yeah.
It just seems like reasonably fresh seafood that's in there. Until you move some stuff out of the way. You find a pitcher of water, and the water's a little cloudy.
I'll take the cap off the Brita filter, give it a sniff.
Smells. I hesitate to say that it like smells like fishy water. It smells almost like the water that would come out of a clean fish tank. Like I know it's like fish tank water has like a very specific smell. This is like a very, very light, low version of that smell. John, the bedroom seems. It's tough to tell. There's like piles of like dirty clothes and stuff everywhere. There's not like, ooh, there's a corpse back here. Like it's
Darn.
You do see, however, a jumpsuit hanging in the closet, like sort of a charcoal gray, navy blue-ish, and like that spectrum of dark, like one-piece like workman's jumpsuit, and it says Hallahan Fishing Company on it.
Phea's going to continue talking to Katie. All right, so the day that you guys noticed you were getting sick, what had happened before that?
You know, Gary had picked up extra work because we were. I mean, you as well as anyone knows that money's tight.
Yep.
So he had picked up extra work, helping as a sort of a lot of the old fishermen got laid off, you know that, and he wanted a job that he could do sort of early mornings. So he was doing a lot of work down at the docks early mornings so that he could still go and work at the museums at night. And it was still nearby so he could bike, and it really like helped. It helped for a little bit, and then he started getting sick, and he was exhausted. And then I got sick, but then he and I just started feeling much better and realized that maybe we were healthy for the first time in our lives.
What did you eat the day or so before?
Same as normal. We took a bunch of food home and just regular, I think she looks a little guilty. We had taken some stuff from...
We all have.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. You happen to take something like a water filter?
No, that's ours. The two of you were looking right at her. When she says, no, that's ours, there is an undercurrent of, put it back, don't touch it.
Nat, puts the lid back on and then, not jokingly, but, she's carefully almost threatening to spill it at that impulse from her. Like a tilt of the hand.
She puts her face back on pretty quick and doesn't react to the threat to spill it. But she puts her face back on quick to do that.
What does Dallas see when he looks at the water?
You have discern up. Shit, that's right.
Or the seafood.
The seafood, everything looks, to the naked eye like seafood. Discern doesn't give you, magic microscope sight.
Oh, okay.
It just lets you pick out details and supernaturals and things like that.
Gotcha.
If you took it to a lab and looked through, you might find some dolphin in there, but
I wasn't sure if it would show if the meat was corrupt or not.
No. But when looking at the water, you do the cloudiness as Nat goes to fake spill it. Some of the motion of the cloudiness moves away from the current away from the force of gravity as she tilts it, as if things are moving in there, not with the flow of the water.
Like things are invisible in that water that are actually able to move around.
Like sea monkeys.
Kind of like sea monkeys, yeah. Kind of like that.
Nat, be careful. There's something in that water.
Yeah, it smells like
No,
a fish
like something
tank.
alive.
All right. Want to expound on that?
I...
Not you, her.
Katie, what's special about the water?
It made me well. It made Gary well.
Who gave it to you?
Gary brought it home.
Where did Gary get it from?
Work, I think. His new job.
Did he say a name of anyone who gave it to him?
No, just that it would help.
Where specifically was he working?
Oh, he was working on a boat out in the bay.
Which one? Which boat?
He got work out on the Fin Finder.
The Fin Finder?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know which dock that operates out of?
Yeah, reasonably nearby.
Okay.
There's a million fish markets around here.
Yeah.
I'll call down. I got something, but not conclusive. Somebody check the bathroom in the attic.
Can you ask your friends not to poke through? Or can I at least get up? And she kind of tries to look past over her shoulder, Todd, to be a hostess for visitors here.
I don't think so, Katie. I'm sorry.
Is your friend going to kill me?
I don't know.
What can I do to get your friend not to kill me?
It's not your fault, Katie.
Well, hang on. There's something. Can you help us with information? Because we need to know if you stop drinking this water, if you go back to normal. Have you ever taken a break from it?
I only had it once.
When?
Right before we got better.
If you only had it once, it's still in the refrigerator. Were you keeping it for company?
In case I was told to give it to someone else.
Who would tell you?
I remember everything. Further back than the sun. I am part of something so much greater. And I am told now there is no reason to lie to you. I am just waiting for my call back home. I want them to call me home.
Who's them?
I am just one of the enfolded, and the ancients will reclaim the land from the time before. Todd, she has at this point kind of relaxed in your arms, like, okay, something inside her has given up the ghost and has, like, been given permission to just speak at will.
Are you communicating with it now?
We rise every day knowing how many of us there are and where we are. They are always with us. We are ourselves, but we are something so much greater. Pheia, can you imagine what it's like to still be yourself, but to be tied to others by things greater than you can comprehend? Things with wills and designs of their own that involve you?
Katie,
How glorious it would be to be a part of that.
I already am part of something greater that involves me, Katie, and you were too.
Not like this. You can be, if you want. I'm sure they would accept you.
I don't.
Only a very few are rejected.
I'm not giving up what I have for the grass that's greener, according to someone who can't remember.
Who are rejected?
Some just die.
Rather than change?
I don't know why. And only certain beings can even attempt to be accepted in the first place. Men and women, and the cousins of those who dwell in the deep.
And you've been unfolded, you said?
And
I am simply one of the enfolded.
And who are the cousins of those who dwell in the deep?
There is a slurping noise when you ask that comes from the toilet tank in the bathroom.
Dallas kind of looks down over at Todd.
Back up.
A guest leaving. You all know, and I have seen you know, so we all know that you know. And she kind of like relaxes back, like fully, almost intimately against Todd. I'm just sad that I'll never hear the call home. But I at least did my part.
I'm going to come back around. Yeah, lady. What about Brighton Point?
Idiots. Fools.
So you're
They
not
don't even see.
involved in that?
They think they're in charge, and they are not.
Right. And what about anything else they're working on out there in the ocean? They got a bunch of projects happening.
All over the world, we were chosen to be part of those who could bring it here.
Bring what here?
Us,
and who's in charge?
the ancients. Those whose memories exist before the sun.
You seem to be at odds with Brighton Point.
They are useful,
Useful but idiotic and wrong.
short-sighted, and greedy in deference to their worm god.
What about Project Deepwater?
She gets this horrific-looking smile that crosses her face. Our attempts to bring the glory of peace and enlightenment to the Atlantic. The original Project Deepwater was so successful that the first of the Enfolded is bringing its success throughout the oceans of the world. Where deep water is, so are we.
If I said the word Rorqual to you,
What do you know of them?
I asked,
What do you know of their power?
tell me about them.
The first of the Enfolded is quite interested in them. They are dying, and when they are gone, no one but we will have the power of the sea.
I think we've gotten what we need.
Is it time now? And she locks eyes with you. I don't want to go. There's like a tear that slips down her eye.
Pheia's is too.
I am so disappointed that I won't be called home. But I'm so glad I got to know what it truly is to be alive and well for a few days, at least. I'm grateful for that. Or you could just let me go. Killing me does nothing.
Letting you go does do something, though.
It does. It keeps the stain of my blood off your soul. For a little while longer, doesn't it?
Here's the thing, Katie. I came here really hoping that you could get better. That you could be the Katie who hates me.
Why would you want to live in a world where someone hates you?
Because
I don't hate you now.
Because that would be your choice and not this ancient's choice. Because it would be you.
In the chaos of the universe, choice is overrated.
I understand that you have to think that way now. But I would so much rather live in a world where you make Gary happy and...
Gary is happy. He's just waiting his time. Just like I am.
I want the old Katie and Gary back.
Maybe he'll
and I can't
get
them.
there. If he's lucky.
And I wish the choice could have been yours to die human.
I wish you could see that if you had experienced both, like I have, you would choose this.
What's so good about it?
It feels wonderful.
How?
There isn't fear. There isn't uncertainty. There is a sense of belonging. There is no loneliness.
There's no humanity.
What is humanity?
A blessing and a curse. And with that,
and mine
Pheia just walks away.
Just a blessing, Pheia.
Pheia just walks.
The ancient thing that you serve, it wants the depth to cover the whole planet.
I don't know the full depth of their design. I am but one fragment of their mind. But they remember a time before light, and they believe in a time when all follows the grand design again.
I think we need to go.
Yeah.
Thank you for stopping by. I'm sorry that, to Pheia's words, I suppose, so much of my individuality had to be taken away so that you could have your answers.
If we let you live your new life, would you try to get others to drink the water? Would you try to convert people to your cause?
That depends on the will of those whom I serve.
You're not serious, Nat.
Trying to hear out the options here.
They wanted to take over the land.
But they're all connected. They all know.
You guys should go outside.
I could go ahead and finish a sentence to hear out what the right choice is.
I think you should go outside.
Let her talk.
She explained that they all know, if they are the same being, what use is it to kill her?
She makes an excellent point.
No, because this takes away an instrument.
Katie.
Dallas will walk around Katie and Todd on the floor, head over to where the bathroom is, and poke his head in the bathroom, flipping on a light.
As the light comes on, you see like a bunch of water in the base of the tub, and there's no like drain stopper or anything. It's not like 2 inches of water. It's just there is a bunch of water, like the shower had been run.
But there's no drain stopper, so is it actually...
Things can just go in and out of the pipe.
Right. But it's not draining down the pipe, is what
No,
I'm saying.
it's not...
It's backed up and flooded.
It's backed up a little bit, yeah.
Looking at the water in the tub, is there anything weird about it?
No.
With discern?
With discern, no. You don't get that same sense that you did with the other one.
Is there anything on the floor or anything on like the sink or anything like that that might make me think otherwise?
No.
Or perhaps the toilet bowl?
The impression that you get, basically, is either something came up the shower drain or down the shower drain, or came up the toilet or went down the toilet. It's something was moving through the pipes, but you don't get a sense that there's anything here right now.
It's long gone since that slurp sound.
Yeah.
Katie, who was your guest in the bathroom?
One of the Petriani.
The what?
It's an octopus. Or it was, just like I was human.
So an octopus that's been infected by whatever you are. Just like you're a human who's been uplifted by whatever you are.
Yes. They are greater than we of the enfolded.
And that thing that's moving around in the water, what's that?
An attempt, successful, at a new way to uplift others.
Katie, before, when you were human, can you think back, remember anything that you would have wanted?
I remember everything.
If you knew that your life was going to end, is there any small thing that could make you happy or mean something at the end of the day for who you were before? Even if you don't care about it now.
I just want Gary to be happy. I hope he hears the call. That's what will make him happy now.
Nothing for yourself?
She looks at Pheia, or in the direction that Pheia walked. I've always been a giver.
We need to go.
I understand.
We gotta destroy that water.
I'll take it with me. Goodbye, Katie. And Nat turns to go and find Pheia.
Oh, Dallas? I suppose you won't be coming to work on Monday.
Yeah, apologize to Cleed for me on that.
If you change your mind, of course you're always welcome. We could use more with your skills to hasten the work.
Am I talking to Klieg now?
Don't say anything.
Does she look like she's gone kind of like detached?
The opposite. It looks like she's almost coming back to herself and is starting to become, like, you see, as you're watching her, you see her start to become a little bit more agitated. Of like, well, the story here is that a bunch of people broke into my house and killed me, so might as well make it convincing, and she's starting to freak out. Slowly but surely. Todd, you feel her start fighting, and you're trying to fight. I mean, she's still just in a very bad position and not strong and can't fight.
Todd looks just extremely pissed off and is holding on to her.
We're done here. We gotta go.
She starts screaming as loud as she can, help, help. Somebody call 911.
He is going to wait for people to walk away because this is kind of like a really gross murder. He just looks very, very frustrated that people stuck around and kind of kept pushing it. And he just presses his knife into the side of her neck. And the first strike deals 4 levels of lethal damage.
For all intents and purposes, she is just a human. She may not soak lethal. And the scream starts to turn into a gurgle.
Yeah.
But you do have to stab her a few times before she dies.
When it's done, he doesn't say anything. He gets up and he just starts cleaning. Tries to get the blood off of him and clean up the kitchen and deal with it.
I will assist so we can get out of here quicker, but I wasn't going to leave you to do it. This was a group thing.
Group thing my ass.
I know. Come on.
So Nat will look to find Pheia outside. She's carefully got that Brita filter under her arm. And she's walking slow, just trying to spot Pheia.
Pheia didn't want to blow up anyone's spot, so she got in John's truck to not look like she was just lurking outside someone else's house.
Which seat?
Passenger.
Nat opens the driver's seat door and gets in next to you.
What's taking so long?
Part of it's my fault. Tried to find if there was some last rite or comfort to do.
She wasn't there.
I'm sorry.
The waiting is the hardest part when you're watching someone die of a wasting disease.
Yeah. I've seen people become far less than they were. Shift from the people that you loved into someone else. It's changed who my family are. In that instance, it made them better. They chose to be different, but I guess all I'm trying to say is I, to some small extent, know what it's like to look at someone and find them a stranger.
Cold water and hydrogen peroxide takes out blood. Like it was never there.
I'm gonna have faith that they know what to do here. And look, I know this isn't your first hunt, but you seemed newer to this.
I am. But this is the first time it's hit home.
Yeah.
Gary's bought me dinner. He's made me dinner. He made me stay at his house when I didn't have a house. And this fucking wisdom of the ancients, I get when things are old enough. The individuals don't matter. But there's no wisdom in what they're doing.
Nat reaches out, gently sets a hand on Pheia's forearm.
She doesn't pull away, but she's not leaning into it either. She just seems shell-shocked, having a little bit, almost like a flashback moment.
Nat comfortingly runs kind of her thumbnail over your skin and says, what you're going through, what Talis went through, none of it's fair. None of it is right, but you're people who know how to do right. And I'm sorry for what position that puts you in.
Do I? Do I know what's right? They were all right. We should have just walked in and killed her.
None of us know what's going on. We are all people who are doing what we can to learn and navigate, and that's all we are. We're people who hear messages, people who have access to a strange edge, tricks that can help us get through. But at the end of the day,
I'm not really understanding how that makes us any different than these enfolded ones.
there's a bit of a rogue smile, but Nat tries to keep it. She does keep it sympathetic. Well, probably shouldn't ask that of an innocent. But I have faith in you.
You shouldn't. I let people down all the time.
It's not really a choice that we get to make if we want to be perfect.
Path of Night, Brine and Blood is an actual play Hunter the Reckoning podcast set in the world of darkness. Dallas McCoppin was played by Garrett Gabbey. John Spencer was played by Tim Davis. Pheia Quinn was played by Erika Webb. Nat Chowdhurani was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Todd Keating was played by Lex Lopez. Your storyteller was Rob Muirhead. This episode edited by Rob Muirhead. The theme music used in this episode was Sadness Room by Denis Goncharov. Find their music online at pixabay.com. Character art by Jay Steele. Find more of their work at Steele Art on Bluesky. Brine and Blood uses the revised edition of Hunter the Reckoning with few limited house rules. Hunter the Reckoning and the World of Darkness are owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you find your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/pathofnight. You can help support the show at ko-fi.com/pathofnight. And you can find us at Path of Night Podcast on Bluesky, Twitter, and Facebook. Or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. Take back the Night Hunters.
Rob, I sent you some fun facts.
Oh boy. What am I looking at?
None of them
no
have to
fun
do
in
with
her
sex
expression.
positions or fish skin.
Oh,
It's okay. I'm sorry, Lex. Soon.
yeah, fucking waste my time.
They all do have to...
None of those are fun. These are all depressing.
I know. I thought you would love them.
All right, hang on.
Okay, there's only one part that is not true in here. And I hate to say not true to your backstory, but it's the part where you say Gary is elderly. We just established he's not.
Oh, you tried to slip that in. Wow.
Everything else in there is great.
Erika, for shame.
Erika, you wrote 40 and I
First
played
of all,
40.
Trixie.
No, it's actually that she's saying
Don't
that 40 is
pretend you're
elderly.
actually ashamed.
I was like, all right, yeah, this is all cool. Wait a minute. You're trying to pull
But
one
look at
over
all
on me.
of the other names on her list. They are all in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah, but they don't work there.
Yes, they do. They are all working at the seaport. I'm sorry, the museum.
You know, I've been to the museum. I do recall them all being that old.
The best ones are.
I love her being like, he's elderly. He's 40. And everyone at this table being like,
So-
"Dude, don't
There's
call
two
that
of them
elderly."
on here who are 40.
Yeah, no, there's two that are 40, and then there's like
And she's
the
like,
other,
none of them are Gary, though.
and then 4 of them are like in their 60s and older.
Yeah. In their like 90s, and one of them you said is roughly 100.
Yes. Accurate.
Roughly 100?
Yes. You think there's a retirement plan in museums? For people who work in the exhibits? No.
Eventually, you just become a museum.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, they just taxidermy you and put you to...
Gary has appeared multiple times on screen as 30s to 40s. That's where he's going to stay.
Fine. You do you. I get fucked up because the guy who he's based on is now in his 60s. So. But when I worked there, was in his 40s. So.
Okay. This is 1999.
Huh?
Erika, I'm not wrong.
I mean, you said he was in his 40s. That's kind of elderly.
Like, look at your body, Rob. Look at my body and tell me that it's working right.
I